My name's Henrietta and welcome to the Britain's Community Channel podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel. All of Azim's media channels are posted in the description below. First guest to this new YouTube channel, an online content creator of vlogs, documentaries, podcasts and promotional videographer and corporate video director, Azim Miah. Welcome to this podcast and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
You're welcome. Tell me more about Azim Miah Media.
So it's a production company that's helping raise brand awareness in the Midlands area. And I believe that every business needs social media and visual content, whether it's graphic design or videos or photography, you need to get your brand out there. So that's why I'm here to provide that for you.
I'd have to say I definitely agree with you on that. Being in a business background, it's very important to have an idea of people that need video content creation or any promotional and social media content.
Definitely.
What are the motives behind starting the company?
So I wanted to provide content for others, but I kind of want to keep my freedom as well. So that's why it's called Azim Miah Media, because it's just me. And I had history in working with other people as well. Like I started a company before with other people, but it just didn't work out because when it comes to your creative vision, it kind of gets a bit blurry, because you have to satisfy everyone else in the group. So that's why I decided to be independent. But if I need to work with someone, I can work with other individual freelancers as well. So we can collaborate and create what's best for all of us. So filmmaking is a group effort most of the time. You can't really do everything on your own because you need a sound person, you need a lighting person, you need a producer, all that kind of stuff. So hiring other individuals allows me to not only keep my independence, but it can allow me to build connections for the near future as well. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. And also, of course, splitting the costs and all that kind of stuff.
I'd have to say that although you described your industry as being freelance, it's very good to have contacts, networks and collaborate if you need to.
Yep.
What are the aims and objectives of Azim Miah Media?
So I want to help people grow their brand. Businesses sometimes lack a strong visual media presence. With social media being a new form of change, of course, 2020 has been a prime example of social media being a good form of change. It's important to have your feed looking as good as ever when it comes to attracting new clients, because some people have their feed doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, or there isn't much value in what they're seeing, and often people judge your business or your social media in a matter of seconds. So you have to make sure everything looks high quality as soon as you see it. So that's why I'm here to, let me help you with your photography. Let me help you with your graphic design. Let me help you with the videos. And I'll guarantee you that people will no doubt pay attention to what you're providing.
I've seen some of your artwork and photography on graphic design on your website. It's very true to your word, it's eye-catching and gives a good way of creating social media presence, which is and you'll see a nice picture and you think, I'll have a look at that, I'll see if there's any more nice artwork. And it adds to a brand's first impression. How has the company been managing during lockdown?
Now, this is a very interesting question because when it comes to my business, it's not properly established. So interestingly enough, it happened at the right time, because I'm still a startup. I'm a complete rookie in the business world. Like I'm learning as I go along. Of course, you met me during the Santander masterclasses. So obviously, I'm still getting the hang of things. Now, what this lockdown taught me is, since of course my company isn't probably established, I'm not expecting huge amount of profit or nothing like that. I've actually been managing okay because it taught me a lot about myself and what I want. Because during lockdown, you have all the time in the world. You can't really go to work. You can't go to school. You can't do anything. So all this time, what do you do with it? You know? So it just tests my discipline. Like, how bad do I want it? How bad do I want to achieve my goals? How bad do I want to achieve such a big business? And it taught me that I got a load of weaknesses and a load of strengths, and they allow me to capitalize on my weaknesses and fully push my strengths forward. So, to summarize, it's been managing well, and it taught me a lot about myself more than I can ever imagine. So, it's all about discipline at the end of the day. That's what helps keeps companies managing during lockdown.
From what you've said, I would say you use it as a lot of professional development with regards to trying to improve the service you're trying to give and provide.
100%.
What kind of clients are you looking for?
Yep, exactly. Because businesses all, well, my business is revolving around me, because it's my creative vision, it's what I want to achieve. Now, since it's all down to me, if I ever feel demotivated, the business will, slowly crumble down. But if I ever feel fired up and motivated, of course, the business will skyrocket up. Now, it allowed me to make sure that, I have to make sure I know what I want. How can I be specific in what I want to achieve? Because of course, the more niche your business is, the more success. Because if it's very broad, like if I just said I made videos, what does that mean? Because there's loads of videos from corporate, promotional, films, interviews. It goes on and on and on. So allow me to be more specific, allow to be more stronger in terms of my mentality, and allow it to be more hungrier in terms of my desire to become the absolute best at what I can do.
What social media channels can prospective clients use to contact you? These will be posted in the description below if you're interested in Azim's business.
So there's Twitter, Instagram, and of course LinkedIn. I actually don't have a Facebook page yet, but of course when things start to normalize a bit, I do want to start off a Facebook page. But those are the main three ways to contact me. I do have a Vimeo, but often you don't really contact clients through Vimeo. And of course, I have a website where you can contact me through there through email, which is azimmiahmedia@gmail.com. And yeah, that's how you can contact me.
Where do you see Azim Miah Media growing in the future?
That's an interesting one because I don't know how, because it can, like, of course, life is unpredictable. No one could predict the virus. No one could have predicted anything that's going to happen this year. But as a mere media, the way I see it, often when it comes to branding, I really admire individual powerhouses. So, for example, Oprah, Michael Jordan, Kanye. When you think of those names, you think of big brands. They're a brand themselves. So that's what I want to achieve. I want to become a brand myself, and by doing that, I have to make sure that I establish my network. I have to keep building my business up. I have to keep putting in the work. So I see myself as an individual media powerhouse. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to do everything by myself, of course. I'll work with other freelancers. I'll hire people, all that kind of stuff to do certain things that I can't. For instance, maybe special effects that I can't do. That'd be nice to have, a person that could do that. But I do see myself as a person that when people think of Azimir, they think of a media entrepreneur.
Because of your company, you're trying to do personal branding, which is relevant and key to what you're saying, is a way of branding yourself, which is vital for your business.
Exactly, because more people are likely to trust an individual rather than a company. Because when it comes to work with a certain individual, you have more trust, you get more time to know them. But when it comes to work with a company, where there's like there's like 100 people you have to get through, and you don't know what they're like and what their values are. But the fact that I call myself Azimia Media allows a more personal connection between myself and, of course, the customer, and of course the collaborator as well.
What got you interested in starting Renaisside podcast on YouTube?
So Ranside is actually a that's a long story that I can't it's gonna take we'll be sitting there for hours talking about it, but literally Ranside is I used to be a YouTuber back in the day. So I started back I created a channel in December 13th, 2013. So that's how, I got better over time and whatnot. But I started as a YouTuber, and the reason why I call it the Renaissance podcast because that's like my alias online, and it's like a representation of the vulnerable side of myself. And it got me interested in starting podcasts because podcasts are very you can be very passive with it. So, for example, if you're going for a run, you can listen to it. If you're sitting down at home, you can watch it. There's multiple ways to literally engage with podcast compared to, let's say a film, because you can't run and watch a film, or you can't be on a bus and watch a film. I mean, you technically can be on a bus and watch a film, but you can't get that full engagement, that full attraction, basically. So the podcast allow me to, the podcast itself is a mental health podcast. I want to help as many people as I can with what I say, my experiences, the interviewees' experiences as well. And just the fact that you can listen to it and do something else is just a way. It's just a very interesting way of consuming content, because 15 years ago that wasn't really a thing, but now it's such a big thing, and it's very interesting because self-development's on the rise, mental health's on the rise, and podcasts on the rise. So I thought, why not? I'm just going to go for it.
That's a very good combination of the two, because it's a men's mental health podcast and mental health in general. And as it's mental health in general,
Oh, mental health in general, yeah.
you're trying to figure out how to collaborate between trying to be proactive in mental health, but trying to get people to engage and talk about it. Am I on the right lines?
Exactly, because when it comes to mental health, it's a bit of a slippery slope. People often they don't they kind of do talk about it, but at the same time they don't, if that makes sense. So people can, let's just say, if you were to meet people at a networking event, chances are you won't really talk about your mental health. You talk about what you do with your life, like what you want to achieve, but you won't really talk about your feelings because it's very taboo, unfortunately. But hopefully, in the decades to come, then that can change. And change happens by firstly starting with yourself.
How do you intend to grow your podcast in the future?
So the podcast has been it's been on halt because, well, university shut down and I can't access the studio, and it's just been a bit of a mess, which is a shame because I really enjoy doing it. But the way I intend to grow it is to simply, well, number one, put in more work. Number two, branch out. So for instance, don't only post on Instagram, post on different platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, perhaps Reddit as well, and also take advantage of the ads as well, because Instagram ads are very underpriced in my opinion. So use that, find your niche audience. So mine is roughly for the podcast is 18 to 30-year-olds in the Midlands. So that can help define where my specific audience is located at and what they want, basically.
What would you say to someone who has listened to this and been inspired to start their own podcast?
Go for it. I mean, we're in this age where you can load up your phone and do a podcast. Like, your phones are good enough to do a podcast these days. Because back in the day, phones weren't so great, and of course, well, from my experience, I had to use like an old laptop which barely functioned. Like my phone's 10, perhaps 20 times as fast as my old laptop, and people have the resources. People have got YouTube. People have got equipment, but I guess what makes people not want to start is the fear of failure. And I think people need to accept that you're not going to be instantly amazing at something right away. You have to keep putting in the work in order to get better. Because if you're great at something right away, then it's just not, where's the fun in that? You want to set yourself apart, because people often give up too quickly, but those who don't give up are the ones that truly succeed. Whether that's just not for podcasts, or that's just for businesses, or if you want to be a filmmaker, musician, whatever. So to summarize, go for it. You got the resources, you got the time, and yeah, just do it.
You've got to have resources, time, be driven and motivated to want to try and get into something like this. The last question is,
Mm.
what tips would you give someone who wants to progress into creative media?
Oh, that is there's a lot to unpack in this one, but to keep it short, because literally I could write a book on this, to be fair. But I guess for the okay, of course, passion. Okay, if you don't have a passion and don't do media, that's kind of simple. But if you do have a passion, then often you'll let time fly by with what you do. Because when I started off doing YouTube, I didn't think about, oh, how can I get that many subscribers? How can I do this and that? I just had fun. I did it. Nothing was stopping me. Nothing was getting in my way. The only person getting in my way was myself. And if you really want to progress in creative media, first of all, you need to work hard and work smart. And by that, I mean you have to put in the work every single day. And by working smart, you have to make sure you know what you want to achieve as well, because there's no point putting in the work if you don't know where you want to go, if that makes sense. So you got to make sure that you know what you want. Be specific of what you want and work as hard as you can. And of course, most importantly, well, this is debatable if it's most importantly, but networking is so crucial. Creating media relies on people. I often have a difficult time letting people in, but you'll be glad to know that there are people who are willing to help you out if you're as honest and vulnerable as you can be with your vision, with yourself, and with them. So work hard, be smart in what you want. Don't do something completely unrealistic. And of course, get to know as many people as you can because trust me, you need people whether you like it or not, okay? Whether it's people that market your stuff for you, if you have a cinematographer that you need, or a lighting person, or a sound person, you basically need people in order to progress in this industry.
This is a very much a team-based industry and a collaborative-based effort.
A very clever base, yeah.
Thank you for joining. Do you have any other questions?
um, I guess I can give a final message, for the people. If I mean, this is mainly actually, you know what? This isn't really for media. This is for people in general. If you're starting a business, if you're being a musician, if you want to be a filmmaker, an author, whatever, there's going to be a load of people that's going to try stop you. There's going to be a load of people that try make sure you don't achieve it. Mainly, it's going to come from your own people as well. From there might be your own friends as well. So please, just for God's sake, just don't ever. Okay, if you love something that much, don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do something because trust me, once you achieve it, they go from making fun of you to respecting you. And it took me 6 years from them, for them to stop laughing to them respecting me. And trust me, you'll thank your future self for it. Okay, well, sorry, you'll thank your past self for it. So just don't give in to other people's opinions.
Very, very wise words. Thank you for joining this podcast, Azim. The link for Azim's social media channels are in the description below. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe to this channel for more business podcasts.